Hello everyone, welcome to IAS Baba. So in this short session, we are going to talk about the history strategy for UPSC examination, both from the prelims perspective as well as from the mains perspective. Okay. So first you start with why history as a subject is important for UPSC. It is there in both prelims also as well as in mains also. And one advantage of history is that is quite static, but the questions can be dynamic. Okay. So subject is static, but the questions can be dynamic, and different trend keeps on emerging in UPSC. You have to focus those trend. I will talk about later part of the video, that is how to focus and where to focus, at the same time how to analyze those trends. I will come to that one in a bit. So before getting into that one, so in the prelims we can say that is questions ranges between around sometimes 10, sometimes 15, sometimes 20. Okay, so there is a this is a trend generally UPSC is taking. But last year I think in 2023 as well as 2024, that is this year, and the questions of history were a little bit less compared to the previous trend. Particularly this year it was less than 10 itself only, you comparing all the history together. But that is not the way to learn, because you cannot neglect because the questions were less than 10, because sometimes one subject gets the precedence in another year, another subject gets the precedence. Okay, so that's a kind of a subject rotation that keeps on happening. So that is the reason average, not just for history, for every other subject also you can take it like somewhere between 12 to 15 to 20 questions will be there. Okay, so that is amounting to nearly, if you take the upper band, that will be around 40 marks. If you take a lower band, if we take 10 questions as that would be around 20 marks. So that is nearly that we can say out of 200, that is 20 marks you will be coming from one particular subject. And in mains, in the mains there is one paper called General Studies 1, that is where history is covered, and in this paper, that is, we have 10 marker questions also, 15 marker questions also. So somewhere around 5 to 6 questions will be asked every year, and that is amounting to around 75 to 80 kind of marks that will be there. So that is the reason history is an important subject, particularly from prelims perspective as well as mains perspective. Okay, so that is a general trend. And of course history as a subject is very huge. There are some further subdivisions of history. We will take it as ancient Indian history, medieval Indian history, okay, then again art and culture, then again modern Indian history, then again post-independence, then again world history too. And when you take ancient and medieval, that is purely from the prelims perspective, we can say. Okay, and it's art and culture of ancient and medieval and general performing arts, that will be there in mains. Okay, but ancient, medieval, art and culture, that can also be asked in mains. But in the rest of the subject, that's modern India, it is there in prelims and mains also. Okay, prelims and mains too. And this post-independence and world history, typically these are main subjects, I would say. Okay, typically. But there are certain questions in post-independence interlinking, certain kind of prelims questions will be asked. But the more weightage for prelims is, that is modern, art and culture, ancient, medieval as well as ancient. But when it comes to purely mains, that we have to focus more on the art and culture aspect, modern India, post-independence as well as world history. Okay, so these are further subdivisions are there. So history is a huge subject, but no need to get scared because of history is very huge, but remains static. Okay, so we just have to analyze what is the trend that is recently going on, what are the yield areas where the questions are coming from. So when you pick those themes, not just for history, for every other subject also, so then we can make the preparation quite easier. Now, the first question in a fresher mind is where to start. Of course, you have to start with the syllabus first. So syllabus should be your go-to guide. So look at the syllabus. Look at syllabus of history. Okay, so prelim syllabus as well as main syllabus. Go through it every day, at least once. Okay, go through it every day at least once. Look at the kind of topics that have been asked, what kind of syllabus, what kind of topics that have been mentioned in the syllabus, and more importantly, and match that syllabus with the previous history questions. Okay, previous history questions taking from the PYQs of UPSC, maybe last 10 years or 15 years you can go back to, and you can analyze the trend. You can look at both the prelims questions also as well as mains questions also. Okay, so write down those particular topics where the PYQs are coming from. Notice the trend, see the pattern. I will show you in a couple of minutes. That is how PYQs play a huge important role in UPSC, particularly in mains also as well as in prelims also. And if you have a grasp of these high yield areas, okay, where the questions are coming from, again, not just in history, it can apply to every other subject too. See the pattern where the questions are getting repeated. Okay, so you should have the deeper understanding of those high yield areas and a general reading of other topics too. Okay, so look at these questions. I will just give you certain examples. I've already given answers also. So this one question asked about one king in ancient India. I think you must have heard about as a general knowledge, Ashoka. Ashoka the Great. So that question was asked in 2019 about the Ashoka sculpture. Okay, so related to his inscriptions only. So one question was asked in 2019. Look at this question: which of the following relief sculptures of relief sculpture inscription is Rani Ashoka or King Ashoka is mentioned along with a stone portrait of Ashoka? So where it has been found? A simple question has been asked. This was asked in 2019. Don't worry about answering right now. Just look at the questions, how the questions getting repeated. And again, one more time, that is with respect to Ashoka only. Answer is Ashoka in this particular question, but it is asking about what is written in that particular inscription. What is written in Ashoka's particular inscription, we can say. So who is advising the subjects, that is the citizens, through his inscription, that is Ashoka again. Look at how the questions are repeating from the inscription theme. That's why I told you that is yield areas. You have to focus on this kind of yield areas. And then at the same time, come back to 2022, recent one trend we can see. Again, they are asking about the different inscription found in different places. One time they ask about the content, one time they ask about where certain aspect of inscription is found, and now they're asking about simply which inscription is found in which state. That is asked in 2022. So look at that one. This is what you have to focus, the yield areas. Okay, that is just one yield area that I'm focusing on. There's so many other yield areas too. Other the PYQs keeps on getting repeated. Okay, so one or the other way, and that is if we are smart enough, we are just being cool enough, we are just being smart enough, that we can definitely pick some kind of trend over this particular UPSC questions. Okay, then again look at the mains PYQs also. Okay, so look at the PYQs in 2017, 2019 and 2020. Just give it a thought. As of now, you might not understand, you might not get to know what these questions are exactly mean, but what I want you to focus is that one, where the question is focusing on. Simply a normal lay person, look at this particular question. Since the decade of the 1920s, okay, this is the keyword I would say. Since the decade of 1920s, the national movement, that is Indian freedom movement, acquired various ideological strands. It means different ideologies came into national movement. That's what they're trying to say, and thereby expand its social base. Okay, it might sound too complicated. I just focus on this particular. Since the decade of 1920s, they're asking about what happened to Indian freedom movement in 1920s. The new ideas get added. Okay, come back to this particular question. Many voices had strengthened, that is ideologies are also many voices, right? Different kind of ideologies, and enriched the nationalist movement, again the national movement, okay, during the Gandhian phase. That means Mahatma Gandhi, one of the tallest leaders of Indian freedom movement, he was there in 1920s only. He started his activities in 1920s, 1930s, and then again 1940s. Okay, 2020, it was before it was asked in 2019 about the same time period. Come back to 2017 again. Highlight the importance of new objective that got added to vision of Indian independence since the 20s of last century. The 20s of last century is again 1920s. The previous century is 20th century, 1920s. So this is how. This is the role played by PYQs in UPSC, in prelims also as well as in mains also. Okay, so of course that's what we have to focus on, the yield areas. We should have a deeper understanding of the yield areas. On top of that one, we should have a general understanding of other areas. So it doesn't mean that questions will come from here itself only. UPSC is quite unpredictable. Sometimes the trend can change over simply, but if you have the good understanding as well as a good hold over this kind of previous year questions, so then we'll have better chances than others. Okay, then what are the sources? Again, history, again, you feel like very huge, and what you have to focus on, very simple basic textbook, that NCERTs would be great, and new NCERTs would be great for ancient and medieval history. And if you feel like new NCERTs are content are very less, you can go back to old NCERTs also. That is R.S. Sharma old NCERT is there. Then again Satish Chandra old NCERT, this is for medieval history. Okay, R.S. Sharma is for ancient history. Okay, and even if you can choose either one of this, not all of this. Okay, either one of either new NCERT or R.S. Sharma old NCERT or Satish Chandra old NCERT for ancient and medieval, or even if you want to, you can go to Tamil Nadu board books. These are standard textbooks. Okay, these are all government books. Okay, which are well researched and everything. So you can go through this new NCERTs if you are a fresher. Okay, if you don't have the proper understanding of the subject, but when you join classes, that you will going to get greater understanding. But if you are already reading the NCERTs before joining the classes, then you will have greater understanding. At the same time, you will be far ahead of others, because you will be getting to know what will be taught in the classes if you have already read the NCERTs. So it's better to read first, then you can go to class, because that way you will stand out. There is a better approach. Yes, even if you haven't read, after coming to classes, the faculties will teach you. Okay, so they will definitely help you to understand the subject from basic to the advanced level. But if you want to do it something different, if you want to stay ahead in the crowd, so make sure that as the class are going on, you also read at home. Before tomorrow, you will be knowing which topics will be taught. So you read it, then go to classes, then understand that particular topic. Then you will feel a lot more confident. that more confident about your own abilities, and you feel like you are on the right path. Okay, so these sources for ancient history. And for art and culture, again, one NCERT is there, 11th Fine Arts NCERT, that you can go through. There's one more book called Nitin Singhania, but it's very bulky. You don't have to go through each and every chapter of Nitin Singhania. Few chapters, okay, so few chapters I have mentioned about Nitin Singhania. That is some static topic we can say, and that is the basic concepts, basic chapters in Nitin Singhania, that like architecture, okay, music, dance, philosophies and paintings. So these are the few chapters that you can go through in Nitin Singhania. But before getting into that one, it's better to read NCERTs. And that's one more way of understanding art and culture is to practice some kind of diagrams, interlinking the architecture, sculptures and everything. Then visualize this. You can also watch some kind of documentaries. You can also watch kind of documentaries about a particular place or a particular culture, particular art, particular, we can say, music or dance, something like that one. Okay, so that is also one of the best way of learning art and culture. Okay, so simply NCERTs, before getting into all these things, you should first read NCERTs. For ancient and medieval also, for art and culture also. And comes to, we can say, for modern history, I think two standard textbooks are there. One is the Spectrum. Okay, you can just search Spectrum, you will get that particular book, every year getting bulkier and bulkier. Okay, then again another textbook is there, that is Bipin Chandra. Okay, another very standard textbook that you can go through this particularly it will help you to develop your analytical ability. Okay, particularly for mains answer writing. Okay, this book I would say that is really good. So you can go through that particular chapter. It seems bulky, but if you start reading that one, you will start enjoying because the language is quite easy. So that you can read. But before getting into that one, you can first read Spectrum. Very simple. As you are reading NCERTs also, Tamil Nadu NCERTs as well like ancient other NCERTs are there. So some modern part will also be get covered over there. Then world history, you can go through NCERTs or your class notes would be great. Okay, so because world history had to be taught from various sources, I think the class notes would be great. Okay, so that would be better. Then again NCERTs for basic understanding. Okay, so these are the basic sources I would say, and even post-independence also again it will be there in one of the Bipin Chandra textbook is there. Okay, so that will even in Spectrum only most of this post-independence will also get covered. Okay, so these are the basic sources for ancient medieval art and culture as well as modern history, world history. So world history NCERTs plus your class notes, that would be great. Okay, but how to read all these things, again different person or different individual have different way of reading for academics also, for competitive examination also. First and foremost, you should have deeper understanding of the yield areas like I already mentioned. So that is paramount. If you want to succeed in UPSC, that you should have very deeper understanding of the yield areas because the question keeps on getting repeated. Look at how the inscription questions of Ashoka, just I gave it an example. So how the different aspect of the same question were kept on asking. Same topic, okay, but different aspect. That is what the comprehensive understanding of the topic is always. Okay, deeper understanding, and you can make a short note or you can just underline there itself only. So while you're making short note, make sure you don't go back to the original textbook because that short note should be enough for you to revise. When you're making underline, you don't have to underline each and every line. You can just underline the important keywords in that particular statement, in a particular sentence. So that when you come back to second time, you just have to focus on those underlined words. Okay, and of course when it comes to every subject, some topics will be easy, some topics you feel like you are very weak in that area, and you should always try to improve your weak areas. Okay, that is also better. Okay, so greater understanding, deeper understanding of yield areas and improving your weak areas. Okay, and then again the smart reading is to always keep the PYQs because I told you how PYQs plays a huge important role in your preparation. Both you keep prelims PYQs also, mains PYQs also. Okay, and focus on those particular topics, more deeper understanding. And then again after reading those topics, try to give a test, try to solve the PYQs first, take some tests, try to solve those tests and evaluate your own self, how it is going on. Okay, and at the same time both objective tests also as well as subjective tests also. Objective test is MCQs and subjective test is your writing. Okay, mains answer writing practices. Of course you cannot start mains answer writing practices from day one itself only. So after consuming some content from history, from all other subject, that your understanding of the subject keeps on getting better. So then you can try at your end. Of course, you cannot achieve perfection in the very first answer writing itself only. It's a process. It will take months to develop your writing skills. So, but don't wait for that perfection time. Okay, start as early as possible after being in the field for let's say one and a half months or 2 months. So you are well versed enough to write answers on the topics you are reading for last one and a half month. Okay, and of course there is a famous saying is that one, that is if you keep on waiting for the time that is a perfect time to achieve the perfection, that may not come. Okay, so that is, they say continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. So always keep it in mind. Okay, continued improvement is better than delayed perfection. So always try to achieve, always try to keep improving your own weak areas, keep improving whatever the mistakes you have committed recently, and it means in the previous answers. And of course, after giving the test, write down what are the weaknesses in the test, what is the strength in those tests. So that will give you a better idea. Okay, so that you can keep on improving those weaknesses, and you can strengthening your already existing strengths too. Okay, and then again, I think I covered this one. Okay, and then how to value addition to your reading. Okay, how to value addition reading. Examine the resemblance between different topics and subjects. Look at how subjects, one subject is interrelated to other subject. Okay, how one topic is related to other topic, interrelate between ancient history and medieval history, interrelate between medieval and we can say modern history, interrelate between modern and world history, and try to interrelate between modern history as well as we can say geography, or modern history to economy, modern history to politics. You can try your various ways. Okay, you can try in various ways. Okay, and sometimes what happens is that one art and culture is taught separately, because it requires a special skill to teach, because some lectures take different approaches. Some would teach along with the say same topic itself only. Like suppose for example, if you are learning Mauryas as a topic in ancient India, so Mauryas, the politics, society, economy will be taught at once. Then again in next when you're trying to compare with the entire ancient history, art and culture is taught once. So some people would teach at the same time itself only. Like suppose for example, so one approach would be to teach the society, economy, politics from prehistory, that is the beginning of the history, to until the Guptas. So 4 to 5 areas are there: prehistory, then again IVC, Vedic, again Mauryas, post-Mauryas, and the Guptas. So they will teach all the society, economy, and politics, and then they will take 1 or 2 extra classes for doing that art and culture from prehistory, IVC, Vedic, then again Mauryas, post-Mauryas, and then again Guptas. So like that approach is also taken, but it is left to the individual faculties too. Okay, so even if the art and culture is taught separately, but while you are reading in NCERTs, while reading that one, you can have to read it together with ancient and medieval. That is how we interlink and read. Okay, if you feel like studying separately also helps you, that is also fine. Okay, so nothing wrong with respect to that one, but it ultimately comes down to your own discretion, ultimately comes down to your own approach toward that particular subject. If you want to interlink and read, that is also fine. Okay, if you want to read separately art and culture, that is also fine. Okay, and there are certain mistakes are there. Okay, so leaving certain topics, leaving certain subjects, thinking like that is your weaker area. Like so humanities background might have less inclination to read about science and technology, or some engineering background students, or we can say technical background students might have less inclination to read about some humanities subject. So never do that one. So always make sure your strength remains a strength. At the same time, always keep on improving your weaker areas, and keep revising, because you every day will be reading more and more topics. Okay, more and more facts, more and more analysis. You have to keep on revising that one. And also that is jumping from one source to another. It's a common mistake is done by most of the aspirants. So please don't do that one. Stick to the one source, read the same source as many times as possible. Okay, and make sure you have a proper routine. Make sure you are disciplined with respect to that routine. And at the same time, modern life is filled with a lot of distractions. So make sure you keep your notifications off. So do some deep focus studies. Okay, deep focus in a sense that one, that is make sure you are in a room that is without any disturbances. So read for 1 to 2 hours continuously without any distractions, then you take a break. Okay, that kind of deep focus should always be there, and of course that deep focus will obviously definitely help in your time management too. Okay, so these are some of the basic things, the basics about the history as a subject, and basics about what you have to do with respect to UPSC preparation, and the sources we also have talked about in this particular session. Okay, and of course one advantage of history is that one, sources remain the same. They are not going to change, because history we will read from let's say from thousands of years ago. That is we can't change right now. So that remains the same, but the questions can be dynamic, like the different high yield areas can emerge every year too. Okay, so that is the one advantage of history as a subject. So which holds importance in prelims also, which holds importance in mains also. So keep preparing. Okay, so thank you so much for watching this video. I wish you very all the best. Thank you.